Jimmy Lai was found guilty of 2 counts of conspiracy to collude with foreign forces and 1 count of sedition under the China-imposed national security law, offences that could carry a life sentence. Lai had pleaded not guilty to the charges, which also included conspiracy to publish seditious material. The verdict drew widespread international criticism. Britain has condemned the prosecution as politically motivated, calling for Lai's immediate release and highlighting his targeting for exercising freedom of expression. The Interparliamentary Alliance on China described the trial as a sham that fell short of international fair trial standards, while Amnesty International warned the ruling signals a severe threat to press freedom in Hong Kong. The Hong Kong Journalists Association and the Committee to Protect Journalists have said the case has caused irreparable damage to the city's media landscape, noting that Apple Daily's closure led to hundreds losing their jobs and citizens losing a key source of independent news. Exiled activist Samuel Chu called the verdict devastating, describing Lai as a journalist and a believer who resisted censorship. China and Hong Kong authorities defended the ruling. The National Security Office called Lai a pawn of external anti-China forces and accused Western politicians and media of interfering in Hong Kong's judiciary. Chief Executive John Lee welcomed the verdict, saying it upholds legal justice and safeguards Hong Kong's core values. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council said the case demonstrates the systemic erosion of Hong Kong's freedoms, democracy and judicial independence. Joining us now is Andrew K.P. Leung. He's an independent China strategist and he joins us live from Hong Kong. Thank you very much for joining us, Andrew. What are your thoughts on some of the comments that have come out of not just international media, but of course also the likes of Amnesty International, the Hong Kong Journalists Association, slamming this ruling, calling it words like devastating, saying it causes irreparable damage to the city's media landscape. How do you respond, Andrew?
Well, these remarks and condemnations is really turning a blind eye of what one country, two systems is all about. Now, I've lived in Hong Kong all my life, both before and after the handover. Most of the time, when I was still in the government as a senior government official, so I experienced what Hong Kong was like before the handover and after the handover, and the whole process leading to Hong Kong becoming as a special administrative region of China. Now, under the Hong Kong's constitution, which is Hong Kong's basic law, there is a provision for universal suffrage. In other words, one man, one vote to elect the chief executive, the highest official, the highest leader in Hong Kong. That was included not in the joint declaration on Hong Kong's handover, negotiated between Britain and Beijing, but in Hong Kong's constitution, which is China's law, the national law, which is called a basic law. Now, under the basic law, in order to enable one man, one vote to be introduced, the candidates must be pre-screened. In other words, after so many years under colonial rule, whosoever elected must have the confidence of Beijing, must be able to work with Beijing, because Hong Kong would thereby become a special administrative region of China. However, when this universal suffrage package was offered, it was flatly rejected by Hong Kong's Democrats, and of course backed by a large number of Hong Kong's people, because they think it's not democratic, as if Hong Kong is a separate country. But no, Hong Kong is part of China, and of course you can't replicate the rules applicable to an independent territory. But nevertheless, that also was an initiative to enable Hong Kong to choose its leader, but that was rejected. And what came afterwards was a lot of serious protests leading to a complete disruption of Hong Kong's law and order, and also elements waving flags calling for Hong Kong's independence, and then you have the involvement of foreign countries, including very high level. Well, for example, Jimmy Lai met Mike Pence. I mean, and is the vice president of the United States. I mean, if he was a journalist, now how come that he would be able to meet such a high-ranking person at a time of increasing rivalry and confrontation between the United States and China? So I think that you've got to look at the whole thing to be able to understand these dynamics of what the problem is all about.
Andrew, two decades ago, Hong Kong was in the Reporters Without Borders World Press Freedom Index. It was a pretty consistent member of the top 20. Now it's ranked 140th out of 180. Is that a coincidence?
It is a coincidence in the sense that all these riots and all this misconception of what one country, two systems is all about. At least this misconception is not only by foreign powers or for foreigners, but also misunderstood by some people in Hong Kong, because after so many years of colonial rule, a lot of the young people have lost the sense of nationhood. They do not identify themselves with mainland China. They identify themselves with Hong Kong. And then as the two countries cannot no longer be separated because of trade and free flow of trade, ideas, commerce, finance, increasingly a lot of people feel that Hong Kong's own identity has been eroded, and that's adds the fuel to the fire, together with this misunderstanding of what country two systems are all about, and that eventually led to the imposition of the national security law.
Okay, Andrew KP de Young, thank you very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to talk to you here on the programme.